Welcome to the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, where we bring you a weekly dose of powerlifting news, tips, and training advice with a touch of 80s rock ballads. This podcast is presented by Team Roar Powerlifting, your source of the most comprehensive coaching and meet day preparation. Here are your hosts, Josh Rohr and Laura Sturm.
All right, welcome to episode 34 of Powerlifting and Power Ballads. I don't even know the name of my own podcast. We just want to let everyone know that we do stream this live while we record. So if you join us each Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern on Instagram Live at PL Ballads Podcast, you can join in the conversation, ask questions, etc. So we got two awesome individuals with us today. I'm going to introduce them, but we'll preface this a little bit, keep it a little bit of a secret. They are the meet directors for the USA Powerlifting Atlanta Open coming up in June. So our two guests, Elizabeth Turner and Jazzylyn Pepper. Liz started powerlifting when she was at UGA. She graduated from UGA with a degree in mechanical engineering. She's been competitive for 5 years, placed fourth at Raw Nationals in 2018. And Jazz has been competing for 3 years. She started her senior year of college, started as a 57 kilo lifter, then switched to 52. She placed third in juniors and sixth in the open division at 2019 Raw Nationals, graduated from Auburn. So we got UGA and Auburn.
Go Dogs. War Eagle.
Not sure how that's going to work. But we got them with us. But Jazz graduated from Auburn with a degree in exercise science and has 3 different fitness certifications. So her day job's a fitness coach, and she's the owner of Fueled by Pepper, in-person and online coaching. So she's also a first lieutenant in the Army Reserve for medical services. That I did not know. That is it. So ladies, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Josh. Thanks for having us. Yeah.
So we're going to get started with some of my fly by the seat of my pants questions here. And then we'll get into more of the details of the meet and more about you guys, but just curiosity's sake, because part of our podcast is music. So I'm going to hit you guys up with some questions here. We'll start with Jazz. Okay. What is your go-to song when you're lifting and you need a hype song?
My go-to song is "Pocket Full of Sunshine" by Natasha Bedingfield. You know, I got a pocket full of sunshine. That make me. I'll lift some heavy weight to that.
I respect that. All right, Liz, what about you?
There's a single song I've hit multiple PRs to, "Savage" by Flux Pavilion. I don't listen to music hardly ever, but that one will get me going.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to sing it because I don't know it. Just give me a little bit.
Go, Liz.
No, I could not do it off the top of my head.
All right, then can you at least like say the words of a few of the lines, because I'm not familiar with the song, so I'm gonna need to. You got to give me something.
Wow, I can give you Spotify.
No, that's cheating. I can look it up if I wanted to. I want to hear it from you.
I honestly couldn't even tell you the words.
Okay. Fair.
I couldn't. I'm so bad.
All right. So Auburn wins this round.
Josh, you can't leave us hanging. I need to know yours.
Oh, well, so this is a little bit telling because we've actually gone over all of my songs on previous episodes. So that just kind of shows your hand a little bit that you haven't listened to any of the previous episodes.
Called out.
Yeah. So that one kind of backfired. So we're back to a tie at 0.
Fair.
Oh man. So let's shift gears a little bit. That was fun. I appreciate that. So you guys are the meet directors for a meet coming up. We actually had a listener question that I want to start with. What made you guys decide to start your own meet? I guess we'll start with that.
I think our biggest thing was that the calendar was pretty empty this year. Elizabeth and I had been friends for a few months, and we started kind of talking about that, which meets we were going to do ourselves as lifters. And we're pretty frustrated about not seeing hardly anything out there. So we were like, wait, why don't we do it? If we're feeling this way, other people are probably feeling this way. So that's what really kind of got the conversation going.
Yep. I would agree with that. I think the other part was it's just another way to give back to the sport. I know both of us volunteer. Now we're both refs. And I felt like it was time to take on the next step and try to run one ourselves.
All right, so let's get into the nitty gritty. When and where is it?
So the meet will be in Atlanta, of course. It's the Atlanta Open. We'll be at the Cobb Galleria in June 26th, at the end of the month. And it will be a part of the World Sports Expo, which I know, Josh, you've ran a couple meets there previously. Yep. This year, the World Sports Expo has over a dozen different sports under the same roof. So,
yeah, that's awesome. That's always one of the most fun parts for me is like watching all of the other events, kind of like peeking over at the powerlifting, like, hey, what's this all about? And we've had some people kind of dabble in it from other sports, so that's always interesting and fun.
Yeah, that's cool to hear.
So here I have a separate comment, not unrelated. You guys posted on social media a while back, and I wanted to give you props for this. You posted, and I'm not quoting this directly, but basically you were asking, in your wildest dreams, what would you like to see at a powerlifting meet? I thought that was really cool because obviously I can come up with some outrageous random stuff that is not possible, but I think I just want to say props to you guys for putting it out there and opening it up for the lifters to have some input, because yeah, sure, there's going to be somebody's going to say something that's completely not possible, but I'm sure you got a lot of interesting feedback, and maybe even if only like 5% of it is even realistically doable, well, that's still adding, something that's possible and something that the lifters want. So I think that was really cool, and just wanted to say props on that.
Yeah, thanks for that. I know one of the things that we heard back was someone requested just having a microwave there to heat up their food after weigh-ins, and that's genius.
It is genius.
Yeah, I've been stuck in that position before where you just end up eating a gross cold meal, and it's like that's something so small that we can just provide. So something as simple as that came out of that, which was great.
How did we never think of that before?
Actually?
Right.
Sometimes that's the thing. It's so some of those ideas are so simple, but they mean the world to everybody.
Exactly.
Literally everybody that's bringing food.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So on that note, like, what are some things that kind of make this meet unique and different? Just things that you've come up with, ideas that you have. What do you want to see happen at this event?
I think our goal is to kind of bring a national styles feel to a local stage, especially with it being a part of a bigger event. We're trying to provide, things that are more meaningful to the athletes, like athlete swag bags, and prize money and gifts for the winners, just like making it more of an incentive for them to lift and just an enjoyable experience. What about you, Liz? Anything to add to that?
I think those are the big ones. I really wanted, because there are very few lifters that ever make it to nationals. And in my opinion, it's when you show up to nationals, the little things, like you get a badge, you get the swag bag with all of the goodies from sponsors in it, and you feel special because you made it there. And so I wanted to bring some of those key components to a local meet and try to make it like a bigger stage, put on really an event for the athletes rather than just showing up to your local gym to, compete.
Yeah, and I think that's cool. So that's one thing I was going to say too, is like, so when I first started running meets a long time ago, you guys, I don't know if this is an insult or a compliment, but you guys remind me of myself a little bit, because, kind of what you guys even said, you were discouraged by the lack of meets that were on the calendar. So you stepped up and ran a meet. Well, I started running meets because I was complaining about things that I thought should have been done better. And somebody called me on it. Like, well, then why don't you do something about it? So I thought that was kind of a neat parallel. And the fact that you're doing everything, I mean, it sounds like your goal is to do the meet for the lifters. And I think a lot of meet directors say that, but I'm not sure that they really take that to heart and make that really a priority. And it sounds like you guys are doing that. So I think that's pretty cool. You mentioned nationals. Are you guys concerned about the overlap with nationals, being nationals are in June as well?
Yes, there was a concern. Now I don't think we're nearly as concerned. We're trying to harness that a little bit to our advantage. The national committee or national office is definitely cut the number of lifters that they're allowing to go to Raw Nationals. Completely understandable. Packing a bunch of events into the same venue on the same week. So there will be a lot of people that don't get to go to nationals, either because they can't secure their spot or they didn't get a chance to qualify within the last 2 years because of COVID. So our goal with this meet now is to, try to give a similar experience around the same timeline. We're only a week after Raw Nationals. And it's also geographically kind of in the same location. In my opinion, Atlanta is an easier city to get to. You'd have to lay over in Atlanta to get to Daytona anyways. So, easy to get to, around the same time frame. Training schedules could line up, and no qualifying totals are required for our meet. Right now, plenty of spots open. So trying to kind of use that to our advantage and give other athletes a chance to compete in a similar environment.
Awesome. So we'll give you a chance here to shout out some of your sponsors, I guess, if you want to. I know from experience, it is very hard to get sponsors, but they make a world of difference in terms of the production and what you can give back to the lifters. So if you guys want to talk about that a little bit, go for it.
Yeah, so we do have some exciting sponsors, starting with yourself, actually. Thank you, Josh Rohr. Team Rohr is helping support us. We have A7. Everybody who's powerlifting now knows who A7 is. So we're really looking forward to working with them. Thanks to Elizabeth and help from Steel Society, we got Rain Total Body Fuel. Everybody knows that all of us drink a ton of caffeine. It's ridiculous. So they're going to be providing drinks and stuff like that for the lifters. We have Pioneer. They're going to be providing a belt for the best overall lifters. And then we have Synergy Release Sports, who are going to be doing some chiropractic work on the athletes as they compete. So we're not finished filling up sponsorships yet. So if you do have a small business or any way that you'd like to support the Atlanta Open, feel free to message one of us. But we're super thankful for all of the people who are supporting us so far.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback on that. We at the venue, the Cobb Galleria, we have a ton of space. So we got a very large space to put the platforms, and we have room for booths. So our sponsors can come and set up a booth and sell product or promote their brand. Like Jazz mentioned, the chiropractor will be there. So not only is he promoting, but he's going to be there working on athletes. So yeah, if you have a local business, you can come out and set up a booth and support our athletes. So one of the big things that we've asked from all of our sponsors is that they can donate, or ask them to donate a small sample, coupon, anything that we can put in that swag bag. So we've got, a little sneak peek here. A7's given us keychains and stickers for the bags. Rain is giving energy drinks to all of the athletes. So that'll be in everybody's swag bag. And they'll also be there with their big tent, just handing out caffeine all day long. So those are some of the big things that we're looking forward to.
I like caffeine.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, I'm going to shift gears real quick because I'm getting these random thoughts in my head. So we're back to random questions. We'll come back to the meet. Liz, you first. What was your favorite competition experience as a lifter?
I'm not trying to toot your horn here, Josh, but the 5-bar showdown, I think 2018, 2017, 2018. That was probably one of my favorite. Wow.
Wow.
I'm wearing that shirt.
And then Raw Nationals in Spokane was a close second.
Yeah. Jazz, what about you?
Mine was 2019 Raw Nats. Yeah, I mean, just the amount of lifters were there and seeing how it was all ran, I felt like there was plenty of space for us all to be warming up, and the flights ran pretty quick. I felt like they were well organized. And that was my first national stage, so it was really exciting.
Nice. All right. The next question, I'm going to grade you both on a scale of 1 to 10. The question is the same question you posted to your lifters. In your wildest dreams, what would be something that, all right, let me learn how to talk. What would you like to see at a powerlifting meet in your wildest dreams, whether it's realistically possible or not? Jazz, you're up first.
Music for every single attempt. I know that that's like just would be crazy because there's so many lifters and you're going back to back. But man, if I could have Pocket Full of Sunshine on every lift I took, man, my total would be like 20 kgs higher.
Hey, but you know what the thing is? All right. Well, let me grade you first on that. I'm going to give you I'll give you a 6 out of 10 on that. And I grade hard. And the reason I give you a 6 is because one, it has been done in the past.
Oh, on every
attempt.
Wow.
But the reason, so I'm giving you a 6. That's actually that's above 50% for me. Yeah, I don't give anybody a perfect score ever. So, all right, I lost my train of thought. I had another point there. But you're the meet director, so you could actually play that for every lifter. Play Pocket Full of Sunshine
all day long.
All day long on repeat.
Hey,
what are they
left and right?
What are they going to do?
Exactly. You heard it here. That's playing all day long, June 26th.
Exactly. All right, Liz, what would you come up with for your most outrageous fun idea for a powerlifting meet?
Oh man, mine wasn't fun.
It doesn't have to be fun.
Okay, all right. I would try to get every single lifter weighed in actually 2 hours before they were supposed to step on the platform. Because most of the time, I've always been at the end of the line. So you're only weighing in an hour before you're supposed to step on the platform. And I would make sure everybody's in right at that 2 hour mark.
Gotcha.
We'll need a lot of scales.
All right, so I'm gonna give you a 5 out of 10 on that one. So I'm gonna declare Jazz the winner. I'm not gonna lie. I think you guys are being a little conservative on your ideas here because you don't want to be too outrageous, and I know you can do better. So I'm gonna give you to the end of the episode to amend your answer, if you wish, or you can stay with what you have. Don't get me wrong. I like both of your answers. Like if I didn't like it, it would be a 0 out of 10. So I definitely like both of your answers, but I think deep inside you guys have bigger ideas you're afraid to say.
I'll keep thinking.
We'll ponder on that.
Yeah, now you have to be like,
You guys are so pissed at me right now.
You're gonna come up with another one?
You don't have to. You can stick with your current score. But again, you got to remember who your audience that's grading you is. Like somebody that's just doesn't have any real sense of quality, I guess. All right. Anyway, moving on. We'll come back to that. We'll go back to Jazz here. You mentioned the music. Is that something you guys, the individual music for lifters, is that something you guys may consider doing at the meet? Or is that, I know logistically that's very difficult, so I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but is it something you're even considering doing?
It is actually. We have gone back and forth with ideas, and we do think that doing every attempt would be kind of crazy, but we're looking at least at like 3rd deadlift attempts or something like that. It's a little bit more manageable. So yeah, it's in the works. It's definitely something we're considering.
Yeah.
I think another idea that was thrown out in that initial Instagram post was music choice before a state record attempt, or any record attempt for that matter, which I thought that was a good idea too.
Yeah, that is cool.
And easier to manage. Yeah.
I like these ideas. See, these are we're getting better at, and
Are
I
our
know,
scores increasing?
were those your ideas or submitted answers from the lifters?
Hey, that doesn't matter.
Be honest.
They did say something about the music, so that's fair.
Yeah, state record attempt was definitely a follower input.
Yeah. No, I like that. Like these are really cool ideas that I haven't thought of before. I mean, it sometimes, like the microwave thing, I'm still stuck on that. Like that's so simple. Like why didn't
exactly.
Part of me is like, man, what an idiot. Why did I never think of that? So anyway, we'll move on. So we do a powerlifting situation that we post every Tuesday on the Team Roar Instagram. And I kind of wrote this one to get your input just because I was kind of curious, and we'll go with that. So the situation is, and we'll start with Jazz. The situation is, everybody has a great story, like, and you hear from different lifters how they got hooked on powerlifting. Like, what was your aha moment, like, that made you realize that powerlifting is something that you wanted to seriously pursue?
I went to my very first meet and I bombed all of my squats. So I didn't get a total. And I'm a very competitive person. So I was like, no, not again. And haven't looked back since. Pretty much.
Awesome. That's a good one. That's it. Well, Liz, we'll go ahead and go with yours.
Okay. I was a super competitive athlete growing up, and got to college and I was working out, but finding the powerlifting club at UGA kind of gave a purpose to working out again. And it, put me back on with a team, got back into that competitive mindset. And from there, I was hooked.
Awesome. So speaking of UGA, I wanted to circle back to this. Like, both of you are first-time meet directors, correct? Yeah. And a lot of meet directors like dip their foot in the water and just like keep it real simple, like nothing crazy. You guys are like jumping in both feet, like, yeah, hell yeah, we're doing this. Super cool. But one thing I wanted to mention, like, is and this is something that, I want to mention on your behalf. Like, meet directors need volunteers. Mm-hmm. So like, if you're listening, like, and you're like, well, they don't mean me. Yeah, I'm going to say it. I mean you. Like, we need volunteers to run these events. And Liz, you mentioned with UGA, like, you guys, I don't know how many times have spotted and loaded and, ran the scoring table and things at different events that I've ran. And I think one, it's going to make you a better lifter. Two, it's going to make you, now that you guys are running meets, it's going to make you a better meet director because you've seen the behind the scenes, how things work. And, I don't know. I'm going to try not to go on a rant here, but the biggest thing I can encourage people to do is volunteer. And it just helps in so many different aspects of the sport. And it makes you appreciate, I guess, the meets and how they run and things like that too. So when you do go to a good meet, like, it is because of the volunteers. Obviously the meet directors have a role in that, but, no meet director can run the meet by themselves. So hint, if you're listening and you're curious about volunteering, do it.
Yeah, 100%.
So
that's one of the other big things that got me into the sport was volunteering with the club, because UGA was at countless of your meets whenever we could be. And it got me deeper into the sport, helped me as an athlete. And then ultimately I became a ref because of it, and now a meet director because of it. So it definitely is a good way to get started. And there was another point that I was putting there. Oh yeah, we now, because of that, I have also again reached out to a couple different university club teams in the area for our own meet to get them to come out, and offering to give them money to come out and volunteer, because that is ultimately what allowed me as a college student to make it to nationals. Like, I was not going to be able to fly to Spokane, Washington from Atlanta without UGA Club Powerlifting supporting me. So volunteering at those meets and, you know, being able to raise the money and go is what allowed me to pursue my career. So we plan on doing that again for all of our local clubs if we can.
Awesome. I like that. All right. We're going to circle back. Any additions to your wildest dreams at a powerlifting meet?
Every single athlete gets their own warm-up rack and set of plates.
Oh my gosh, that would be a dream. If she wins, I'm not even gonna go caveat. No, that would be amazing.
All right.
People there to actually load and to load it.
Ooh,
like
wow,
a lot of people
crew.
don't have coaches. Yeah, like why can't there's a crew spotting and loading you on the platform? Like we should just hire crews to be spotting and loading for every single person competing, because some people don't have coaches. They don't have people that are there supporting them. I've seen lone wolves all the time. And man, loading your own plates right before you're lifting, that sucks.
All right. I'm bumping you. I'm bumping you both up. All right, Liz, I'm taking you up to, we'll say a 6.75 for that answer.
Wow. Okay.
And Jazz, did you have any? You
Nah,
kind of
You
piggyback
set
off,
off of mine.
Yeah,
Gotta
you're just
piggyback
gonna
off
have
of
to
hers,
give me
so.
a 6.5.
but I already gave you, why would I move you up to a 6.5? You didn't add anything yet.
What? I did. She didn't say, but loading and people
Whole
loading
crew.
your plate for
Personal
you.
crew.
All right, you're
In
right.
addition.
You're right.
Mhm.
See, part of it, you got to argue your case. I'm not just going to give it to you. So, Jazz, you finished at 6.5. Liz, you are the champion at 6.75.
Go
Oh, I
dog.
got to come back on here because I need an 8 at least. Okay, Josh? It's not gonna cut.
Solid effort. Oh man, what a stupid competition. But so here's more along the lines of what I was looking for. So this is my wildest dreams. You know how in the airport you have the moving escalators? We would have all of the lifters would enter one by one on an escalator, or what is it called? The
Moving walkway. Or...
moving walkway. And there's going to be basically a curtain that opens up right as you get to it, and like a fog machine. So you like come through the fog with the lights on, and you have somebody that. So first of all, everybody walks out wearing headphones that, you know, listen to their music, but it's shaped like a crown, and you're also wearing a robe like you're the king or queen. So as you get out to the platform, the spotters take your robe off, and the other one takes your crown off and sets it down on a little podium beside you. You go take your attempt, come back out, they put it back on you, and you go back in the escalator through the smoke. So that answer would have given you probably like an 8 out of 10.
Of course it would, because you're the judge.
Right.
Wow, that is extravagant.
Yes. Also ridiculous, but again, I didn't say it had to be realistic. So anyway, let's. I'm running off the rails here. This is what happens when Laura's not here to keep me on track. So let's finish with this. Let's first of all give me a recap on when and where the meet is, and how people can get in touch with you if they're interested in the meet, interested in registering, all your social media accounts, etc.
For sure. So again, the meet is in Atlanta, June 26th, the week after Raw Nationals, at the Cobb Galleria Center, part of the World Sports Expo. You can register on LiftingCast. So if you just go to the LiftingCast website, scroll down to our date, the meet will be there. We also have the registration link in my Instagram bio. So I think I'm Elizabeth_Ruby.
I'll post your social media links in the description.
Perfect.
You don't know your own social media.
I think it's in, Jazz's is in there too. And then we have a shared meet Instagram page, Atlanta.open, which Josh will link, and the registration link is in there. We're constantly posting updates on the Atlanta Open Instagram page. So right now we have the first price increase for registration. We're in early bird registration right now, but the price will increase on March 12th, next Friday. So just under 2 weeks, 10 days from today. So on that Instagram page, we're posting updates like that and the price increase. We'll be posting details on our sponsorship and about the meet in general. So that's definitely the place to follow for any meet details.
Awesome. We actually just had a question come in live here.
Wow.
Yes, for the first question that's come in of all of our shows. So what is the window for your weight class being locked in? Basically, when is it too late to change your weight class?
1 week before.
A week before?
Yeah.
Is that official rules? Because can't you change day of, Josh Rohr, Mr. King of Powerlifting?
Can you?
So yes, you can change.
But I thought you would have to be a guest lifter if you do that.
No, you can. So any local meet you can change day of.
Okay.
But basically, if you're gonna change, I'll throw this out there. If you're gonna change your weight class and you know that ahead of time, email the meet directors.
Yeah.
Because the one of the things that makes meets start a little bit late is all of the changes and changing people to a different flight, different session, different platform, whatever. So if those changes can be made ahead of time, and most of the lifters know they're not going to make weight ahead of time, they just don't think to let the meet directors know. So please, if you know you're changing your weight class from what you registered with, definitely let the meet directors know.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's a good question. So yeah, basically you can change up until, you can change at your weigh-in basically if you don't make weight. But if you know you're not going to make it, again, I'm going to say it again, and I'm a broken record here. Let the meet directors know.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Cool. Well, any closing? Okay. How about this? We're going to have closing statements. I announced the winner prematurely. I forgot I was going to do this. So closing remarks. Each of you will have, we'll say 15 seconds to make closing remarks, to basically null and void my scoring system and declare yourself the winner. Jazz, go.
I should go last because I'm losing.
Yeah, you're right. Half a point for you. Liz.
Closing statements. Am I trying to sell myself here?
No, you're trying to say why his point system sucks.
You know who you're talking to, so there's no rhyme or reason to any of this. So your guess is as good as mine.
Not to undermine any of Josh Rohr's meets ever that he's ever done, because they're fantastic. The Atlanta Open is about to be bomb and everyone needs to go lift in it. That's my closing statement.
Awesome. Hey, I love that. So I'm giving you a full point on that. You're up to 7.75. Hey, take no prisoners. Your meet's going to be the best meet ever.
I mean, she is not wrong, but your point system is so wrong. You went to 6, then you only put me up a half a point, and then you just knocked me a point.
Okay,
are you even keeping track of these points? Let me see the sheet.
Let's hear your case, Jazz.
I am keeping track. All right. So here's your opportunity to totally redeem yourself. Jazz.
What if we can get the escalator with you on it? I think we can make that. I can make that happen.
That's a 10 out of 10 if you actually make it happen. So even if you're 99,
so this is a TBD.
So even if you're 99% joking, only 1% seriously like humoring me on this, I'm still going to give you 1.25 points. So you are now at 7.75, and it is officially a tie.
Oh man!
Wow.
Did you take math twice in college?
Did I?
What is happening? Did you take math twice? What kind of point system is this?
I call it the Josh system. It's a highly complex bunch of nonsense, if I'm being honest. Right. Anyway, enough of that. we'll finish on a positive note. I am super excited about the meet. I think you guys are going to do an awesome job. Definitely, if you are listening and you want to get involved and help out, definitely reach out to them. We'll put the links again in the bio so you can reach out to them. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really cool. And I really appreciate you guys being on.
Thank you, Josh.
Thanks so much, Josh.
You're welcome. Thanks for tolerating the nonsense. You guys handled it well. I appreciate it. You guys are ready to run a meet for sure if you can deal with my nonsense. So.
Oh man. Your third attempt deadlift changes at the last second.
Yeah. Yeah. What was that? What do you, so I've done that. What are you referring to?
Okay. I was one of the Powerlifting for Pups meets. Ashley and I were running the table and you were trying to teach us a lesson on last minute changes.
Wow. You make it sound so bad. Like you're trying to teach.
Josh had his athlete like ready to go and he's making all these different changes to teach Ashley and I a lesson on how to run the table.
Yeah. You guys did well though.
Yes. Highly stressful, but.
So I will say that like I do have a tendency to make things difficult on people, but it makes you better for it.
It does. I learned how to make last minute changes.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up there, but again, thank you guys, Jazz and Liz, for being on and looking forward to an awesome meet in June.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at PL Ballads Podcast and shoot us an email if you have any questions, topics, concerns, etc. at plballadspodcast@gmail.com. Later.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, please remember to subscribe and share it with your friends.